Night Fellowship. Or maybe they just liked his face, which was open and familiar, like they might know him already. Although small, the son of a Holocaust survivor had grown up in Israel, where he served in an elite commando unit in the Israeli army during the Lebanon War. A 73-year-old woman was Small's first patient of the day. Her son, whose idea this visit was, guided her in and helped her into a chair. She was wearing blue slacks and a pink and white striped man-tailored shirt, and had a white scarf around her neck and pearl earrings. She was smiling broadly. Small and the woman's son talked for a while. The son, a Brooklyn cop, was carrying a folder with his mother's previous MRI films, plus her medical records, plus a list of all the conditions that might explain his mother's profound lethargy, none of which were Alzheimer's disease. "I'm going to say 3 words to you," the doctor said to the woman, who continued to smile. "And I want you to repeat them back to me. Penny, apple, table." This, I knew from spending time in the memory disorders clinic, was the most basic test for dementia, part of the standard mini mental state exam. The woman was having none of it. She said not a word. "Mom," the cop pleaded, "do what the doctor says." "Penny, apple, table," Small repeated. The woman looked over at her son, the expansive smile lifting up the corners of her deeply blue eyes. "Mom, say penny, apple, table," her son urged. Though it was November, though he was wearing a short-sleeved shirt, he had begun to sweat. "It's hard for her to talk," he said, giving up. Small pushed a piece of paper and a pencil across the desk to the woman. "See these 3 figures on this sheet?" he said. "I want you to draw them on this other sheet." She cocked her head and grinned, like he'd said something funny. Her son, though, looked grim. He had one hand inside the other and was rubbing them back and forth as if he were washing. "Pick up the pencil, Mom," he said in his best cop voice, and roused perhaps by its authority, she did. "The doctor would like you to make copies of these figures," he told her, his voice becoming gentle again, his tone solicitous. She wrapped her fingers around the pencil and scratched a few lines on the paper before pushing the pencil and paper back across the desk. Even from where I was sitting, I could tell that what she had sketched was not a cube or a house or a 3-dimensional abstract of intersecting squares or polyhedrons. Halfway across the room, and I could see that what she had drawn was the glyph of disease. Minutes later, the doctor spoke the words. "Alzheimer's disease," he said. By then, the woman was snoozing quietly in her chair, and the doctor was telling her son. And because love is invested with hope, he protested, naming other conditions, listing various syndromes, enumerating different possibilities. Small listened, nodded, and then repeated the diagnosis. He was unequivocal. He asked the cop if he understood. Because I could not bear to look at the son, I looked at his mother, who even in sleep had a smile on her face, and fixed on the steady in and out of her breathing. Breath for breath, I synchronized to her. It was a way of not thinking. Still, the thoughts came anyway. This is the person we are afraid we will be. This is the one we are afraid we are already, unwittingly, becoming. Here are some numbers. 83% of us are worried about not being able to remember one another's names. 60% are concerned about our tendency to misplace the car keys. 57% of us are disturbed that we can't recall phone numbers a few minutes after we've heard them. Lots of people, most people, have a memory that leaks and disassociates. When researchers from the University of Maastricht in the Netherlands queried 4,000 people, 1 in 2 people over 65 said they were forgetful. While that may not be surprising, the researchers also found that 1 in 3 people between 25 and 35 reported memory problems too. Invariably, though, the younger folks attributed their lapses to stress, while the older ones thought that they were caused by disease. We are anxious.